Nobody is really thinking of that. And I think it's about time, like Mr. Ayoto begin to look inwards. How can we stimulate local production? Because that's the only way out for now. Otherwise, newspapers will go under, and patronage is just a matter of time. Even in advanced economies, when people flaunt Nigeria's economy as being the largest on the continent, we forget one thing, and it's very crucial. It's a consumer economy, and consumer economies, you know, when you don't produce, and then you face a lot of problems, which the industry currently is facing. That is, of everything is import dependent, and then you are buying from the foreign market, but then you're also your source of revenue stream is local, and there's a contradiction there. So unless we look inwards and then stimulate local production, it's just a matter of time before newspaper. And then with the advent of new media, you can see that it's sounding the death knell on traditional media. The new media is done away with. All these worries, all these concerns are not. They are alien to the traditional media. You don't need all these consumables to be online, and then to print. Web publishing is the way to go. A lot of media now, they're concerned about web publishing. So really, Mr. Osadolo, I think this is something that I want to also maybe share with my colleagues in the Newspapers Proprietors Association. Really, let's start looking inwards, because that's the only way to go. Otherwise, newspapers is just a matter of time, because they are really challenged because of this vital requirement in production. This is my take.
Okay. All right. Let me get back to Ms. Amfani here. Ms. Amfani, how much has government policies affected the printing industry, particularly the policy on importation of finished printing products? That's one. Then secondly, with the huge naira, devaluation, to what extent is the foreign exchange situation affecting the printing industry in Nigeria?
Yes. Thank you very much. Just as I said earlier, that there is so much the nation is losing by allowing the importation of finished printing materials. It's better for the government to look into the tax being paid for importation of paper, printing machinery, ink, and all the necessary consumables. In that way, production of books, especially now the government that have announced they want to make education cheaper and more available to the generality of Nigerians. And only way, one major area is to make sure the educational material, instructional materials, and whatever it has to do are cheaper. And one way the government can do is to look at the charges that are being levied on most of these consumables we use to produce these books. And a body like Bank of Industry should come to the rescue of the Nigerian printers. Then most of the time, a lot of politics is in play. Most of our members, I'm happy my president of Chartered Institute is online. I'm a council member of that body. We have tried severally to draw the attention of the previous government to look into these challenges. The revenue we are losing, the job we are creating already. Now, some of us have been new places as of now, as I'm talking. Thousands of jobs will be created, and machineries have been imported. And if the government would look at areas of subsidizing the charges on importation, like duties, I am sure we are going to be able to produce the required educational materials and other enlightened materials, because enlightenment is very, very vital.
Well, Alaji, I understand the point, and I'm sure the viewers get a hang of what you're saying, that namely, okay, that you guys, you are in business, and how do you make the operating environment more conducive? But what we're talking about now is the high dependence rates of the industry on importation. So government says, hey, listen, we're imposing so much duty on your consumables because of X, Y, Z. In the meantime, we don't have the capacity to produce those consumables locally. We'll come to you to tell us something about why it appears to also be a challenge, just as Ali M. Ali of the People's Daily has responded to his. How do we source our newsprint? Ink, for instance, is from hydrocarbons. I mean, black carbon as it's called. We have our Twitter handle on the screen there at NTAGMN, and some tweets have come in already. Claire, let's take some of these tweets. One from Epic Odenigbo. It's a fairly long one. It writes, "It's like Nigeria is made giant of Africa because we believe in consuming other countries' products. What a shame. What I understand about Nigeria is that our leaders enjoy importation. Nigeria can't produce ordinary paper because all our paper industries have collapsed. Why shouldn't there be unemployed people since the source of employment is overlooked?" That's from Epic Odenigbo.
Really epic contribution there. And Aminu Uba Al-Hassan tweets, "Not only paper mills, for our indigenous companies to survive, the FG, that's federal government, must ban the importation of all stuffs we can produce locally."
Ibrahim Tudu writes, "Government has abandoned the printing industry for long. Almost all materials for printing in Nigeria are imported. Government should declare emergency on paper. As at now, a ream of A4 paper sells for 1,000 naira as against 450 naira. By the way, this is A4.
Of course.
Yes.
All right, Kingsley. Finally, the tweet we have, Sonny Michael Omokuji. He says, "You can't give what you don't have. Both government and individuals should build capacity first, and government should go further to regulate the body properly." Kingsley, I think that's the last tweet we have.
Yeah, we have. Just to come back
again,
again, Claire, to come back to Alhaji Yahya Amfani, because he's right in the business of commercial printing, an aspect of it, of course, which relates to security printing. We're not here at this time discussing the heavy machinery you need, like your presses, and then your pre-press equipment, which obviously, owing to local industrial capacity, we can't produce those ones now. I mean, Germany, India, and China are usually the sources of those presses. But we're just saying for your consumables. Now, for commercial printers, you have to source your paper. I'm sure those who go to Papa Wharf and Tinker and see all those flatbed trucks all loaded with reams of paper, bringing them for consumers. What have local printers, by way of association or others, tried to do other than just negotiating a lower tariff on imported newsprint? What have you tried to do, responding to what you find at Iwokmi, what you find at Jeba, or as we saw in the desolate case of Okuiboku?
Yes. Thank you very much. Already, my body, the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers of Nigeria, and equally, our company, Allianz, is also a member of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. To tackle this issue head on right now, what are the basic ingredients or the raw materials of paper production? It's a pulp, and pulp is made from trees. And we have some large plantation already in this country, matured plantation. We have them right away. Once we have leadership that is right in government, that we now have, and determination of government is there to see that these materials are produced locally, the basic number one material is available. On your way to Jos, there is a large plantation of paper pulp. If you start harvesting it tomorrow and the material are imported in the next 6 months, paper will start producing. Remove corruption and everything works. I can assure you, with vast land of agriculture, and now that the government is focusing on agriculture, a lot of other people will be willing to plant, to have plantation for paper pulp. They're available. We can do it. So that is what we're helping our body. We're not coming together in the Association, Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, Chartered Institute, and all the newspapers, Association of Nigeria too. We should come in as a body. And we are making that effort right now to make sure that we partner with government to go into local production of both newsprint and other papers required in commercial and security printing. We are already trying to do that, especially with this encouragement of these government policies of driving corruption outside. Once corruption is out, I can tell you this is possible. Production of paper locally is possible.
What is this a government, Claire? I mean, is this a government business or it's a private sector business?
It's a private sector business, but we're in partnership with government. For example, If we come in on a body and we need help, possibly we will not be able to raise that capital required to bring in the machinery that is required to produce paper. We need some bits of support from government. We need that support. We need everybody. Power and other things are related.
All right, Mr. Mfani. Let's get back to Mr. Wahab. Mr. Wahab Mohammed Lawal, who is in Lagos. Mr. Wahab, again, Mr. Shogunle emphasized that, look, Nigerian printing industry can compete globally, of course, with other printing industries in the world in terms of quality. So quality is not the issue. The main challenge for them is the high cost of production. Of course, we'd like to know, like Kingsley asked, it's not just a government. How do you intend, how does your institute hope to get around the issue of increasing production cost?
Thank you. If the production of textbook is high in Nigeria, and because of that, the publisher decided to take books to India to print, they are still bringing this book